Welcome back to Animal Kungfu Arana. Today, we're going to slow things down. And I mean, really slow things down. When you think of the animal kingdom, you probably picture speed, power, and agility: cheetahs sprinting across the savannah, eagles diving from the sky. But not every creature is built for speed. In fact, some of the most fascinating animals are the ones that seem to live life in slow motion. In this video, we're counting down the top 5 slowest animals on Earth. We'll meet creatures that move at the pace of a glacier, animals that look more like living statues, and some that have turned slowness into their ultimate survival strategy. By the end, you'll see that moving slowly doesn't mean being weak. Sometimes, it's the smartest way to stay alive. So, sit back, relax, and let's begin our slow motion journey. Kicking off our list at number 5 is the sea cucumber. If you've ever seen one on the ocean floor, you might have mistaken it for a rock or maybe a weird-looking vegetable. But don't be fooled, it's very much alive. Sea cucumbers move at the speed of, well, almost nothing. A typical sea cucumber might crawl just a few centimeters in an hour. Honestly, watching your phone battery drain is probably faster. What's even stranger is how they defend themselves. When attacked, some sea cucumbers literally expel their internal organs to distract the enemy. The predator gets a slimy, confusing mess to deal with, while the sea cucumber slowly makes its getaway. And the best part, it simply regrows all the missing organs later. Imagine if we could do that. Oh danger. Let me just toss out my stomach and I'll grow a new one next week. Despite their sluggish pace, sea cucumbers are extremely important. They're like underwater vacuum cleaners, eating tiny bits of organic matter and recycling nutrients. Without them, the seafloor would be a mess. So while they won't win any races, sea cucumbers are vital for keeping our oceans healthy. At number 4, we have the legendary giant tortoise, most famously found on the Galapagos Islands. These incredible giants can weigh over 200 kilograms and live for well over 100 years. Their top speed, a blistering 0.3 kilometers per hour. A person could outwalk a tortoise about 10 times over without even breaking a sweat. But here's the twist. Their slowness is a huge survival advantage. By conserving energy, giant tortoises can survive for incredibly long periods without food or water. Some have been known to go nearly a year without eating. Imagine skipping every meal for 12 months and being totally fine. That's the tortoise lifestyle. One of the most famous tortoises, Harriet, was believed to have been collected by Charles Darwin in the 1830s. She lived in a zoo in Australia and passed away in 2006 at the age of about 175. She lived through the invention of cars, airplanes, and even the internet. Slowly but surely, tortoises remind us that longevity is just as important as speed. Their massive shells act like armored fortresses, and combined with their calm, energy-saving lifestyle, they've mastered the art of survival through patience. Next on our list at number 3 is the starfish, or as it's more accurately called, the sea star. These creatures might look like pretty decorations on the seafloor, but they are slow, deliberate hunters. Starfish move using hundreds of tiny tube feet on their undersides. These feet use water pressure to create suction, letting the starfish inch along at a maximum speed of about 0.03 kilometers per hour. That's slower than most toddlers crawling across the living room. But being slow doesn't stop them from being effective predators. Starfish love to eat clams and mussels. Once they find one, they latch on and use their tube feet to slowly pull the shell open. This process can take hours. When the shell finally cracks open just a little, the starfish does something amazing. It ejects its stomach out of its body, slips it inside the clam, and digests its meal externally. Then it just pulls its stomach back in. A little creepy, yes, incredibly effective, definitely. Starfish also have a mind-blowing survival trick. If an arm gets bitten off, they can just grow it back. Some species can even regenerate an entire new body from a single severed arm. For such a slow creature, that's an incredible superpower. Number 2 on our countdown is the garden snail, one of the most iconic symbols of slowness. Snails glide on a single muscular foot, secreting a trail of mucus that acts like a slippery track. This slime lets them crawl over rough surfaces, and even upside down, like gravity is just a suggestion. Their average speed is around 0.05 kilometers per hour. It would take a snail more than 20 hours to crawl just 1 kilometer. You could watch an entire season of your favorite show, get a full night's sleep, and cook breakfast the next morning in that time. But their slime isn't just for movement. It helps them stick to surfaces and protects them. In fact, some snails can hibernate for years if conditions get too harsh. They seal themselves inside their shells with a mucus cap and just wait for the weather to improve. Imagine saying, too cold. I think I'll take a 3-year nap. Believe it or not, snail racing is a real sport. People gather to cheer on their slimy racers as they inch toward the finish line. It's probably the slowest competition in the world, but it has a unique charm. So, while snails are slow, their resilience and unique abilities make them unforgettable. Finally, at number 1, we crown the sloth as the slowest land animal in the world. Sloths move at an average speed of just 0.24 kilometers per hour. Even when they're in a hurry, they rarely break 0.3 kilometers per hour. That's slower than most people can walk backward. These animals spend nearly their entire lives hanging upside down in trees. They sleep up to 20 hours a day and only come down about once a week to use the bathroom. They move so slowly that algae actually grows on their fur. This is a brilliant camouflage trick, making them look more like a bundle of leaves than an animal. Why are they so slow? It all comes down to their diet. Sloths eat mostly leaves, which are very low in nutrients. To survive, they've developed an extremely slow metabolism, but don't underestimate them. Sloths are surprisingly good swimmers and can move 3 times faster in water than they do on land. And for defense, they can deliver a powerful swipe with their long claws. Thanks to their adorable faces and permanently chilled-out vibe, sloths have become internet celebrities. Videos of them munching on leaves or just yawning can melt anyone's heart. So yes, the sloth may be the slowest of them all, but it has captured the world's admiration like no other. Now let's put all this into perspective. A cheetah can sprint up to 120 kilometers per hour. Even a casual human walk is around 5 kilometers per hour. Compare that to the animals we've met today. The giant tortoise at 0.3 kilometers per hour, the sloth at 0.24 kilometers per hour, and the snail, which is even slower. If speed were the only measure of success, these animals would have gone extinct long ago. But instead, they've thrived for millions of years by turning slowness into a strategy. Tortoises outlive us. Starfish regenerate from almost nothing. Sloths use their slowness as camouflage. They prove there's a lesson for us all. Sometimes, slowing down is the smartest way to survive. So there you have it, the top 5 slowest animals on Earth. From the almost invisible crawl of the sea cucumber to the charmingly sluggish life of the sloth, these creatures prove that speed isn't everything. Which of these slow animals do you find the most impressive? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the slower side of nature, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Animal Kungfu Arana next time. We're cranking things up to maximum speed to explore the fastest animals on the planet. Until then, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.